you know, let's separate the terms discrimination and judgment. You know, if you need to have, let's say, your toilet snaked, it's probably a bad idea to call an electrician, right? If you need your septic tank pumped, it's completely pointless to ask the gardener. You know, if you need, surgery for the removal of a potentially malignant skin tag, you know, calling a carpenter is kind of stupid. You know, so discrimination refers, you know, is what we want to discriminate what action or what action is appropriate to the circumstance that we are creating. So, judgment has to do with deciding a person is a good person or a bad person. Deciding a person is, you know, like it's a good person or a bad person. And judgment is about some value, not some capacity. So, you know, I think every day we need discrimination. I think, you know, judgment is the antithesis of kindness and compassion. And for that, you know, we want to really clear our minds and open our hearts. And I believe that if we grow, and if we are able to, authentically establish contact with an alignment in our deepest self, the flow that automatically occurs, that is expressed between us and our total environment, you know, is an experience of great richness and abundance and beauty that compels us to have value for it. I mean, it's something so wonderful, who wouldn't have? And then, you know, that experience and the value that intrinsically arises within us for that experience, you know, is the basis of all ethical behavior. We are automatically an ethical person when we are truly, you know, fulfilled. And anyway, it's human nature to want to help each other, to cooperate. You know, I mean, even from the earliest, you know, evidence of humans that we have of every species, you know, care for the children and the elderly and the injured is evidenced in in many of the sites that we find. So, you know, I feel like judgment is that process by which we close down connections with people and eliminate people from our environment for whatever reason. You know, and discrimination is understanding the different, you know, what a person can do, what they can't do, what their, you know, best qualities are, what their struggles are. But, you know, in all of this discrimination, there is underlying it, you know, a value for connection, you know, and an appreciation for the struggle that each and every human being has in this life, you know, to dissolve the tensions that were, you know, visited upon them through the limitations of their family system, nobody's fault, you know. And we are in this experience of value for connection, discriminating how best we might be a support to, you know, the people with whom we share our lives. So judgment is blocking flow. Discrimination is facilitating flow. You know, this is a very important distinction that we need to understand. You know, judgment is like, you know, ultimately, you know, disrespecting and devaluing, you know, the essence of human life. And, you know, this is just flat out ignorant. Doing that is flat out ignorant. Discrimination is a conscious act, whereas judgment is a reactionary, you know, phenomenon. And it's, for the most part, it is unconscious. You know, we are reacting from some set of tensions within ourselves to, you know, a set of limitations in another person. But everybody has some limitations, and everybody has some great qualities and great potentials. And what we talked about earlier today is that my personal experience is, it's possible, as we cultivate those great qualities, you know, consciously cultivate them, all of the inherent limitations in every system just fall out. I mean, my own sort of inclination in this sort of circumstances, I don't avoid anybody. I sort of feel like the people in my life are there for me to work with and work through, and I don't really think of, you know, people as, of course, having said that, I would say, you know, one of my biggest limitations in my life is that I haven't always, because I'm so accepting, I end up, you know, being tangled up with people who are not so appreciative of, you know, their human possibility as I am of mine, and I am of theirs. And this has been a struggle for me. But I think generally, you know, relationships that are finished fall away. Relationships that have value and meaning, even among people who fight all the time, you know, endure because of that value and meaning. You know, I might, yes, limit my contact with some people at certain times, you know, but for the most part, you know, I'm doing that not out of any sense of judgment or rejection of anybody. It's because I have other work that is calling me that I must attend to, and I need my energy for that. It's even, I would say, there's not even an issue of another person involved. The issue is I am aware that, you know, at this point in time, I have priorities that require more energy than I, you know, have available to me to extend into, you know, the many relationships that I might, you know, be participating in. And so I'm holding myself a little more closely to my practice and holding myself a little more closely to, you know, the quiet spaces that might be appropriate to my digesting whatever, you know, has previously taken place or whatever's going on. But it's not about anybody else ever. It's about me attending quite consciously, discriminating what work is appropriate to me now and doing that work. And at all times sending love to everybody. You know, if somebody's trying to push some advice on you, first of all, they probably think they see something better than you see it. So, you know, rather than fight with them about it, I just take it in, park it someplace. If it later on seems like it might be meaningful, great. If it's useless, that's normal. And, you know, I would say great. I'd say thanks. I think when somebody's decided they need to give you advice, fighting with them about it is the wrong thing to do, because what you're doing at that point is making their case. They're saying to themselves, you know, you're not seeing something you need to see, and you're saying, no, 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 and they're saying, well, you know, that makes me even righter. Oh, forget about it. Just take it in and park it. You know, I have found myself that meaningful communication, the value of which is not always immediately clear, you know, will become clear in time, you know, if it is valuable. And if it's not, it just evaporates.